He wants it. You see how bad he wants it. Those are the words superstar Devin Booker had to say about the 6'9" forward from Maine who is on the USA Select Team. The USA Select Team is an ensemble of young basketball players, majority pros, who are there to practice with the main USA roster and garner some valuable experience. It includes some of the brightest stars across the league, such as Sacramento's Keegan Murray, Houston's Jabari Smith Jr., Charlotte's Brandon Miller, and other notable names. Among the 15 members, 12 are currently on an NBA roster and 2 were formerly on one. Only one player on the USA Select Team has never played professional basketball. As a matter of fact, he's never played a game of collegiate basketball. I'm referring to the 17-year-old Phenom Cooper Flag, who won't suit up for Duke University until the 4th of November. As of now, Flag has played against a team of NBA players before he played against college players. This guy's still a teenager and he's competing against a team full of Hall of Famers. Remember what Booker had to say about him? That's laudation from one of the best. Those words aren't cheap, nor are they singular. His performance in the training camp made him the belle of the ball. Everyone uttered praise for his standout abilities at his age. Flag came prepared to demonstrate his capabilities, and he played with tremendous confidence. These are only scrimmages, but to have such cojones at 17 when he's confronting the masters of a craft he's still a novice in, that earns respect. From all of the professionals present on USA Select Team, some of whom will go on to become all-stars, make All-NBA, become max contract players, the guy who stood out the most is practically still a high school kid. Flag was earning his stripes on the court, and his effort at the Olympic training camps confirmed what the recruiting world had already been suspecting, that he's the real deal. Some guys are immensely talented at an early age and they take full advantage of that. What ends up happening as a result is that these guys strive against inferior competition at that level. Ultimately, every high school player who's ever laced them up has envisioned a career in the NBA, even the junior who's riding the bench on JV. And for those who found success early on, these dreams appear even more so tangible. But the path to the NBA is similar to the path of becoming a doctor. Due to the exclusivity of the profession, there's a lengthened process of barriers put forth to sift through the endless talent pool. For Americans, college is the colossus between the player and his dreams. Your gifts become mundane once there's 6 other guys who possess the same traits that play on the same team as you. At that point, the game transcends the need for talented athletes and instead covets talented basketball players. Less jumping, more pull-ups. College is where the majority falter and few flourish, and ascending beyond this point is virtuosity. Making a livelihood playing basketball puts you in the percentile, and to play in the NBA is to be amongst the most qualified of your confreres. Transitioning from a college jersey to a professional jersey is like climbing a mountain on top of a larger mountain. But if a teenager can vault over these barriers and hand out buckets to the best in the world, leap over these analogical mountains, what does that make him? Well, Cooper Flag is no ordinary teenager, not one bit. The main event, as he's been crowned, is the consensus #1 recruit in the class of 2024. There's always talent coming out of high school. That doesn't make them noteworthy to mention. If they're good enough, they'll make it to the NBA. But there's always certain players who are the exception. The Victor Wembanyama's, the Zion Williamsons, guys who you just know are on the fast track to NBA superstardom. This is the calm before the storm. Soon enough, the basketball world is going to pick up on Flag and he'll be unavoidable. He's training with America's premier basketball players and he can't even vote yet. In 2023-24, Flag averaged 16.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks and steals per game in 33 appearances in his senior year at Montverde Academy. He got the triple crown, winning Gatorade National Player of the Year, Naismith Prep Player of the Year, and Mr. Basketball honors. That's something that hasn't been accomplished since Andrew Wiggins back in 2013. I mean, he's the first basketball player to win Gatorade National Player of the Year since Jason Tatum in 2016. Flag became the best high school player in the country after reclassifying to the class of 2024, and the powerhouses came knocking. Georgia, Michigan, UCLA, UConn, Duke. He was mulling over his commitment choice, which ultimately came down to UConn and Duke. The Newport native would verbally commit to Duke University before his senior year, following the long-standing tradition of American white guys joining the Duke Brotherhood. But Flag's talents are incomparable to previous Blue Devils such as JJ Redick or Christian Laettner. Flag is a surefire one and done. It's almost meaningless for him to even show up to class since everyone is aware he's league bound. Now, can the Blue Devils implement this incredible one-year rental and build on the previous season that saw them reach the Elite Eight? One season of Cooper Flag playing college ball should be fun. He's continuing to grow, and his near 7-foot wingspan enhances his height. He weighs in at a slim 195 to 200 pounds currently, but a year at Duke should bulk him up and fill out his frame before the draft. With these measurables, he's a prime NBA candidate. You include a developing offensive arsenal and an exceptional aptitude on defense with latent natural potential that could transform him into a nightmare on that end once polished, and you have NBA GMs foaming at the mouth to get him on their franchise. Flag has drawn comparisons to all varieties, just as Jason Tatum, Paul George, Franz Wagner, Kawhi Leonard, even Giannis Antetokounmpo, which isn't as ridiculous as it sounds when you watch his defensive tape, but most accurately, he's an offensively boosted Andrei Kirilenko. Flag's defense mirrors AK-47, and that's a compliment to the main forward. Remember, before Victor Wembanyama came along, Kirilenko was the last player to average over 4 blocks and steals per game, which he did back in 2005. Being compared to one of the best defenders of the 2000s is a hell of a compliment for a 17-year-old. Now you include Flag's scoring ability, and we might be looking at a future two-way diamond. If we profile him less on playstyle similarities, more on his skill set and ability to impact the game, then we're looking at a modern Kevin Garnett. The jumper, the ability to run the floor, the playmaking, the defense, the tenacity. Garnett's tenacity was impossible to miss since he'd tell you about it, whereas Flag's attitude lets his game do all the talking, which is very Kawhi-like of him. With Flag, you can pretty much compare him to anyone in the front court because he's got a bit of everything, and that right there is his biggest asset. His game is marvelously refined, leaving no real weaknesses to be spotted. He's one of the most balanced prospects we've seen in a while. An underrated aspect of Flag's game has nothing to do with his physical abilities, but instead his mental. Whether he's truly fearless or very good at masking it, the guy has great composure. And ultimately, composure is the sign of supreme confidence. Composure is critical at any level, but especially once you reach a point where the talent is so stacked, the only differentiator is the willingness to take the shot when needed. Take Cleveland's Donovan Mitchell. He's a 6'2" guard with a good dunk package and a reliable jump shot. There's at least 4 guys in every draft class who possess these same abilities. What distinguishes Mitchell from the competition is his composure, confidence, and willingness. That's why he's a multi-time All-Star, the kind that can get 30-40 every night. In the NBA, everyone is great. It's the elites of the elites. They are separated by the thinnest of margins, and oftentimes it comes down to pure desire. That's the difference between the Michael Beasleys and the Paul Georges of the world. One-on-one in their primes, it would come down to the last shot. But when the arena is roaring, they're worlds apart. And when you've studied the psychology of competition long enough, you, akin to a criminal interrogator, develop the ability to spot a killer. And Flag fits that description. He has that hunger, that shark sense to smell blood in the water. Now, confidence is fickle. It can wane if not nurtured properly, especially when you're dealing with a young guy. This video could be a slap in the face in the years to come, but I'd bet otherwise. Cooper Flag's floor is a max level player if all the evidence is accurate. Victor Wembanyama has transcended every threshold regarding how incredible a prospect can be, so as an audience, we've become desensitized. While Flag is in no way the level of prospect Wembanyama is, his prowess indicates he'll be the future of whichever franchise acquires him a year from now. So what can the masses expect from Cooper Flag? Well, he has the makings of a generational talent. That is no exaggeration. If Flag was eligible for the NBA draft, he would have undoubtedly been selected straight out of high school. And with how pitiful the 2024 draft class is shaping out to be, he'd be in Atlanta right now. Flag is a breed of athlete where his game leaves nothing to discuss. At 17, his abilities are refined far past what's expected of him, and his mind for the game is similarly sophisticated. And there's no complaints about this guy's motor, as testaments from many across the basketball world have acclaimed him to be a cold-blooded killer. Cooper Flag is gonna wow folks at Durham, and barring any unforeseen missteps, he'll probably be next year's #1 draft pick. Come spring 2025, he will be heralded by the national media as the savior of whichever team is lucky enough to draft him. Just give the guy a year and he'll be ready. I mean, he's only 17. Thanks for watching.